I'm Vanessa Rauland and I'm a project coordinator at CUSP. I'm also doing my PhD there, and the project I'm coordinating is called Decarbonising Cities and Regions. CUSP formed, I think, about three or 4 years ago now. We're still fairly new. It's headed up by Professor Peter Newman, and I think we have around 60 PhD students. So I think our claim to fame is that we are one of the largest sustainability policy institute in the world. We're based in Fremantle, which is a lovely place to be located, and we have such a diverse range of projects. We have people working on sustainable tourism, marine education, coastal climate change adaptation. My project, Decarbonising Cities and Regions. We have deliberative democracy. We have Indigenous. We've got a new project which is looking at Indigenous place names. Transport-oriented developments. It's just so. I guess that's the exciting thing about sustainability. It just crosses so many fields and can, it permeates everything, I guess. We work very much with industry and have a lot of kind of real-life case studies that we work with, which is great for the researchers because you get that kind of hands-on experience. And as Peter Newman was always saying, we're here to save the world. We only do projects which we think are going to have a real significant practical outcome. So the project I'm working on, Decarbonising Cities and Regions, we have 5 PhD students working on this, and 2 of them are looking kind of at the urban setting and 2 are looking at the regional setting. And I guess we've identified that there are a lot of problems and issues with the way we've constructed our settlements at the moment, especially within our cities, where it's all based around centralised infrastructure, large coal-fired power stations located very far away from the cities where the actual energy is being consumed. Our water is being generally coming from large dams or groundwater and then being treated to drinking state and being pumped again vast distances to where it's being consumed and then pumped out again, treated at another big central location. And same with waste, except the opposite. We're taking all the waste, taking it out of the city and plonking it in a landfill site. And so we're kind of seeing these type of problems and saying, well, what can we do about this? Well, what other opportunities exist to manage these very precious resources much more efficiently, because those centralised sources are very emission intensive, as you can imagine with the coal-fired generation. So what we've discovered is that decentralised management of resources is, and it's not a new concept that's been around for quite some time, but we're looking at how we can do that quite practically and we have some case studies that we're working, or some industry partners that we're working with and using their developments as case studies, seeing what if we put cogeneration and trigeneration, which is another form of energy production, which is using gas rather than your coal, and it means you can actually create that energy within the city because it's much cleaner. You can capture all the excess heat that's a byproduct of the energy production and use that for heating and cooling, and the whole energy process is much more efficient, so therefore much less emission intensive. So looking at all these sorts of new kind of systems for managing resources, and this, I guess, is similar true for rainwater, for our water supply. We should be capturing the rain where it falls and using it where it lands, rather than letting it run into stormwater, be taken off, treated in a central location, and which all requires energy. And the Water Corp and water management in cities is definitely one of the largest energy consumers within cities. So there's a lot of emissions associated with all these systems. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But so we've kind of identified 6 different areas that we think need to be looked at and calculated if you're looking at the carbon footprint of a development, and that's the construction of the development. So where the materials are kind of coming from, the process on site as you construct it. The embodied energy in the materials, so if you're using concrete, which takes a lot of embodied energy, a lot of energy to create the concrete. We're looking at the operational energy, water and waste of the site, and transport, which is, I guess, the overall design element that needs to be incorporated. We can't keep creating these kind of sprawled suburbs that aren't connected with any public transport, that are very, very highly car dependent. So I guess that was probably the first feature we need to be concentrating on, that transit-oriented development, TODs, and incorporating that, and making it mixed use, because I guess the thing everyone always says is the most environmentally friendly trip is the one that's not made, so you're saying so you can work close to where you live, and you can have all your recreational facilities close by. You can walk to the shops and everything. We need to see much more of those type of developments occurring. So we're focusing on Perth, but we always have it in mind that this can be applied anywhere. And I guess specifically, like a lot of the work that we're doing in terms of, we know that Perth is growing, so it's one of the fastest growing cities in Australia, and I think that has got a lot of, there's a lot of opportunity to demonstrate sustainable growth in Perth to developing countries, which are obviously also growing, and that's on the global sustainability level, it's definitely, if China and India develop how we have in terms of our low density sprawl, then there's definitely not going to be enough resources to go around. We're going to need 5 planets, and and climate change will be absolutely exacerbated by that. So if we can kind of start to show how growth can be sustainable, which is really embracing that the density aspects, and increasing opportunities for public transport, then we can use ourselves as a positive role model to say you don't have to aim for this low density sprawl. This is also a wonderful livable environment, and this is what we're trying to aspire to, and that's, I guess, something that we've seen all through Europe. At CUSP, we are always trying to improve our role in terms of informing the community about all things sustainable, all issues, and every Thursday morning at 11 o'clock we have a morning tea that we encourage anyone to come along to and chat with us, and then we offer seminars most Thursdays. You can jump on a seminar, like on a mailing list, and we have all sorts of really interesting presenters coming, sometimes international and like industry people, professionals. Sometimes we often have our own researchers getting up, or visiting academics from interstate or whatever, and anyone can come along and offer to present as well. And we really think that's important, to have that interaction with the community. Sustainability, it needs to be both, definitely, and it has to. I think what we're seeing with the carbon price is a huge step forward, and that's definitely a top-down measure, and that really is going to have a big influence on changing our overall systems, and that, in my eyes, that's going to have a great positive impact on the uptake of decentralised systems, like for the cities that I've been talking about. But it's definitely also a bottom-up. We need that bottom-up approach as well, and everybody needs to be taking individual actions, and as CUSP, as a sustainability institute, we need to walk the talk as well. And last year, was it last year? Yeah, last year I kind of instigated this energy monitoring system in our building, to really kind of show everyone, look what we're consuming, and let's try and reduce it, obviously. And I think that interaction is really important. I really like to see that in everyone's homes, and in the coming years, and in every building, to really make people aware of all the resources that consume. Everyone's particularly passionate about water at the moment, because you can see it, but energy is a bit different. It's a bit more abstract, and I think bringing that to the forefront of people's minds is important. And everybody has a role to play. I'm probably a bit of a glass half full type of girl, and I think the future is definitely bright. I think there's so many opportunities. I guess when you see the problems facing us, you can also see those problems as opportunities, and we've got a lot to learn from, and I think, I'm really excited about the project I'm doing, because I just see all these, you see where we've kind of failed in certain aspects, and you go, well, let's just use that, and let's start putting in these cleaner measures, and let's be an example for the rest, you know, for the rest of Perth or the rest of Australia or the rest of the world. I think, yeah, it's an extremely exciting field to be working in. There's constantly new technologies evolving and new ways of doing things and systems and approaches, and we need to jump on them and pursue them and push them and encourage them and, yeah, be part of it.